Chaos Theory by Tessa Crowley. Brought to you by Leanne Audio. Chapter 8. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Aesop. Draco collapses in the chair across from Harry, formerly known as Robe Shop, and seems to catch him off guard. "Happy Christmas," Draco says, smiling. "Draco," Harry returns, "what are you doing here?" "Literally or philosophically?" Harry laughs. "Let's start with literally. I thought you went home." "Home's boring," Draco says dismissively, which is mostly true. The other half of the answer that he does not feel like discussing is the fact that if he goes home for Christmas, he'll have to deal with endless disparaging remarks about how he dared let himself be sorted into Ravenclaw. Besides, I needed to be around to give you a present. Draco pulls it out from his robe pocket. It's a small box, neatly wrapped in glossy red paper, with a shiny silver ribbon, about the size and dimensions of a wallet. Harry stares at it as though it is solid gold, and does not take it. In fact, he seems almost paralyzed by the sight of it. Draco gives him a few seconds' grace before he says, "You going to take it or what?" He is struck by the expression on Harry's face. It hovers somewhere between abject astonishment, unequaled gratitude, and wounded confusion. "One would think you'd never received a Christmas present before in your life," Draco says, as neutrally as he can manage. Harry looks up and meets Draco's eyes. Draco's worked it out, of course. It would have taken more effort to remain ignorant to the signs of abuse, the unhealthy weight, the spotty confidence, the old bruises. To his mind, they are giant and obvious. It infuriates him, of course, especially because he knows that with all the fanfare surrounding his early childhood, someone, somewhere, had to know about it, and done nothing. Draco has plans to deal with it. It'll make a nice birthday present, he thinks. "Thank you," Harry says reverently. "You're supposed to thank me after you open it." "Oh." Hesitantly, Harry reaches out and takes it in both hands, holding as though it was made of glass. He pulls at the end of the ribbon and takes off the top. "Oh, wow," he whispers. "You seemed so interested when I showed you my magical map of the Virgo supercluster. I thought you might like an astronomical watch." It's a small, handsome silver fob watch on a chain, and Harry rolls it between his hands like it's the most incredible thing he's ever seen. It shows local time, time of year, relative position of the other planets, and position around the Milky Way. But since it takes over 200 million years to orbit the center of the galaxy, I wouldn't expect that last hand to move all that much." "It's beautiful," Harry says. Draco opens his mouth to comment on how it's far more useful than it is elegant, but then decides against it. He certainly can't blame Harry for finding beauty in the awesome void that is the universe. Draco recalls being 5 years old and staring through a telescope for the first time, focused on Venus, and trying to wrap his head around the fact that this pale yellow dot was a planet roughly the size of the Earth. Even these days, knowing all he does, he still finds the sheer scope of the universe one of the most difficult concepts he's ever had to grasp. Whenever Draco gets too self-assured, he opens up that magical map of the Virgo supercluster and reminds himself that the observable universe likely only makes up a fraction of all that exists. Draco smiles. "I'm glad you like it." Harry is still studying the watch face, so Draco grabs his plate and gives him a heaping helping of scrambled eggs. Most of the students have, of course, gone home, and there's not as much food laid out as there usually is. Still, Christmas breakfast looks sumptuous enough. "Heard you got into a bit of a row with Weasley before the break," Draco says. At last Harry looks up. He's frowning, and he shuts the watch. Yeah, he admits reluctantly. He was sort of acting like a pillock. He sort of is a pillock, Draco says. He has still not forgiven the little bastard for demanding he stop talking to Harry. He just can't get over the fact that we're friends, Harry sighs. He just kept saying, he's a Death Eater, he's a Death Eater, and no matter how many times I tell him you don't buy into it, he keeps going on about it. Draco takes a bite of egg. You never asked me if I buy into it, he says as he chews. Harry gives him a strange look. You don't, do you? Of course I don't, he answers. Purest dogma is fear-mongering, prejudicial rubbish. I'm just saying that you never asked. You just assumed. He doesn't seem to know what to say to that, and Draco can't help but smile. This, he realizes. This is why people have friends. Friends are people who assume the best in you without a second thought, who will defend your honor for no other reason than your honor matters to them. Thank you, Draco says, before Harry can figure out the obscure meaning behind his words. Thank me? You just gave me what I'm sure is an absurdly expensive universe clock, and you're thanking me. It's an astronomical watch, not a universe clock, and it wasn't that expensive. Well, your family's rich, isn't it? You probably wouldn't know if it was. That's me, blinded by the light of my own privilege. He takes a sip of orange juice. Harry grins, green eyes bright. Thanks, Draco. It's the best gift I've ever gotten. High praise, considering you were given an invisibility cloak not 3 days ago, Draco says. He still can't believe that it even exists. That was my dad's, so I figure it's not a gift so much as an heirloom. Excellent, so my victory is unblemished on a technicality. Harry laughs. Happy Christmas, Draco. This friend thing is nice after all, Draco decides. Happy Christmas, and Happy New Year. Let's hope the rest of the semester is blessedly free of Dark Lord sympathizers posing as professors. Let's. The subject drifts. They talk about classes and homework and macrophysics and dark matter, and when Harry proposes that they go out and have a snowball fight, Draco calls him ridiculous and juvenile, but doesn't say no.